Hi everybody, I just want to start by showing off a little bit of an overview of Word and the things we're going to learn today. So remember that this is a video clip, so you can pause the video at any time. You can go back and forward, re-watch different parts, and you can increase or decrease the speed of the sound. So I might be talking slower or faster. So when we're looking at Word, on the left-hand side, we have a navigation pane, which might be closed, and one of the ways we can bring it up is to do a search or find using, hold down the Control key and press F. That will usually bring that. So Control F is one way to bring up the navigation pane. We'll see that a little bit later in different areas. And then we have the main body of the document. We have a ruler up at the top, and if you can't see the ruler, you can choose View at the top of the screen and display Ruler. So that'll show the rulers next to your document. It also includes, and if you put your mouse there and read the tip, it says you can see tab stops, move the table borders, and line up objects. You can also measure things, so it's very interesting that way. These little guys at the top here will show our left indent, our hanging indent, and our first line indent. So it's important to realize that these little spacers here, these little gray things, you can click and move them around. That's indent. And then there's actually a different thing in between the light area and the dark area on my screen. That's for actually setting the margins. So I can click and drag the margins to make that a little bit different. Usually I think it was 6.5, but I can Control, undo, and put that back to the way it was. And I can click and drag this one back to the end of the page as well, because that's all I want to do for now. Okay, I'm back again. Turns out my headphones aren't working, but I can still hear the sound once I play it. Another thing we can do is taking a look at some of the items that you might find in a document. Some of these paragraphs I could select and apply bullets. So on the Home tab, we have the different types of bullets for a bulleted list or a numbered list. That's in the paragraph group. And I did talk about the different groups on the ribbon up at the top of the screen here. So I've got the Home tab, which is part of the ribbon. There's the font group, the paragraph group, and the styles group. When I click on bullets, that's what I get with bullets. And there's a way that I can choose different styles of bullets, and I can even create different bullets and change the way they look. Now with bullets, you have the ability to indent a bullet, and that can be done using the tab key. So it shows how some items are subordinate to other items. So that one item would be part of another item above it. And we also can see that there are dialog launchers on these little boxes here. So up in the paragraph group, there are some settings like show and hide the paragraph groups. But if I want to see more features, then I have to click on the dialog box, and I get even more control. So there's a lot more control. We can see that there's automatically going to be 8-point spacing after each paragraph. Now that's different than line spacing, where I might want to have a double-spaced document like an essay or something like that that says multiple at 3, but I'm going to put that back to whatever it was. I think it was 1.5. And we're mainly I just wanted to look at that 8-point right there. And we have also page breaks, but I'm going to hit cancel for now so I don't make any of those changes. The other thing that I can show you on this Home tab is there's the Find menu. So I click Find, and that brings up that navigation pane, and that's where I can look for things like the word lead in this particular document. And you see, as soon as I search for something, it tells me there's 14 results, and I'm looking at just the results on this particular page, because if I click Pages, this is a view of the entire document, and you can see that in either view on the right hand side here, I can see that the item I searched for is now in yellow and highlighted no matter where in the document I'm looking at. So it highlights all 14 results for the text that I'm searching for. And over on headings, this particular document doesn't have headings, would be a different view of the document. But normally if you're using search, it will find where the item is, and it tells you where the results are. So down here is, I can click on one of these and it will automatically jump to that instance of where I find the thing I was looking for. And there are styles. And I'm just on the textbook here looking on page 63, which is how to navigate section 2.1. I have my different styles here. I'm just going to close my navigation window, so there's this close box there, and I can just have my cursor, my insertion point, you see how that flashes, that says that I'm in title, and I can change the title to a heading, but I probably want to leave that as title. And there is a more section to the section to this gallery, and I can see what the text looks like when I try to apply each of these different styles. So these are different preset styles, and later you'll be making your own style and applying different styles, and I can even clear the formatting, which removes all the formatting from the selection, leaving only the normal unformatted text. And there's even a button there that says tell me more, so if you carefully wait for the tip to pop up, then leave your mouse on the tip, then you can always move to the links and click those links to find out more about that information. Oops, I clicked on how to create a new style. So that's basically the layout of the document, and I can see down at the bottom, this area here is called the status bar. I'm going to write that down somewhere. Where? Oh, so tips to learn about, things to learn about are the status bar, which is down at the bottom of the page. And if I switch back, you'll see that I have page 1 of 2, so that'll tell me the current number of pages I have, number of words in the document, whether I'm using English Canadian or French spelling or in keyboard language. There is also a way to record macros in Word, but we'll talk about that some other time in Excel. And we have different views for the read mode, print layout, and we have our zoom slider. So if I couldn't read it, I can zoom in a little bit, and I can zoom out a little bit, or you can zoom it back and forth, slide it back and forth. There is also comments that I can see displayed here. So we're going to look at comments today, so I can show and hide the comments. This one was placed here by the textbook creator, and this one is something that I added when I was working on this assignment or project. So that's all I wanted to say on this Word interface, and we'll move into something else. Now I'm taking a look at a document called Home, which is located in the Word2 module folder of your data files. Now we'll probably talk about this when I return, but just in case, I'll put up some of these files that you can play with, although you should already know where to locate them in my, what is it called now? SAM. In SAM, you'll have these files available, and one of the places that I look at is when I have my folders downloaded. You might find a folder such as this where I'm in Word2 now, and we're in the module folder, and there's a file called home.docx and ancient.docx. Those are the extensions, the file extensions for Word documents. So we're looking at home.docx, and that's what this file is here. So we've opened the file, and I'm going to save the document as something different. So I can save a copy because I'm using Office 2016 and Office 365. So I can save files. I've already got everything set up on my home computer to connect directly to my Conestoga OneDrive. So in my OneDrive folder, I'm going to make it sure I'm connected to my Word2 folder. And I'm just going to change the name of the file to Home Lead, which is a sustainability certification. And it says the author is Carolina Frey. That's the original creator of this document. I'm not really going to change that. I don't really make any other changes. I just click Save. So you're going to open the file, save it as a new name. So I can see up at the top, it's been saved as Home LED. And you might also be able to see this neat feature in Office 2016 is that there's a feature called autosave. So it will automatically save the file back to my OneDrive periodically. That means every once in a while, so that I don't have to remember to save it again and again. I can turn off autosaving if I wanted to, but then I would have to start remembering to save it frequently. So for all the purposes that I'm going to do in this course, I'm always going to have it on. If your computer is not configured to look like mine with autosave at the top, then you'll have to simply click the Save button every once in a while so you can save the changes that have been made. So now I've got the saved document. I've got it saved. I've got the right name on it. The document, we got to be in print layout, which we are. So down at the bottom, that's print layout. And I can zoom into 120% by clicking the plus sign twice. It goes up by tens. And I'm actually going through one of the textbook exercises here so that we can see all of this together. So if you followed through the textbook, which is available for free online with your SAM account, or you can go buy the textbook, then this is in Module 2, and I'm just going through the material. So if you're not very familiar with Word, then I highly recommend you do it. So we've got our view, we're zoomed in, and I'm going to go on to the Review tab because we're going to look at comments. So comments, well, now I'm going to confuse everybody. I'll try to edit that out. I'm just going to look at comments today. So not just comments, but that's one of the things I'm looking at in today's class. In order to see the comments, I'm going to come up onto the Review tab at the top of the screen and click Review. And there's an item here called Comments in this group. So I can have new comments, I can delete comments, there's next and previous comments, and I can say Show Comments. Now, as soon as I open this document, I know there's comments here, these little blue things, and they show me over here in pink. If you watch right here, when I move my mouse over that comment, I can click on it and it'll show me what the comment is. That's one way, but I'm actually just going to click up here on the Review tab again, click Show Comments. So now I get this tab on the right, this area outside the margins. It's kind of like writing notes in the margins, but it's a little more flexible. And they don't print, which is also useful, so that's why it's outside of the printable margins. We can see the comments. There are 3 comments in this document. There's also a setting. What we can see here is in the tracking group. So there's a tracking group, and we want to say display for review, simple markup, and where it says track changes, display for review. Yeah, that's the one. Choose how you'd like to see this, and we're just going to see a simple markup. And we're also going to show the comments, which I did already. So I get show, and I click it again and it hides them. I click it again and it shows them. So that's great stuff. Nice and simple. If you couldn't see that part of the screen, then you can take the scroll bar and navigate to the right a little bit. Oh, am I hiding showing this? Just get rid of that. So I can scroll back and forth, and that way I can read all the comments if I had to, which is nice to remember. I can actually go to the next comment and the next comment and the next comment, and you can see where it says prepared by. It's actually selecting there. So Carolina says, please insert your first and last name here. So if I was working on this document, I'm going to not remove the word prepared by because I want it to say prepared by Rick Henderson. So you make sure you put your name, not my name. Always super important. And we want to read the comments. So the handout includes the title, Leads for Homes Fact Sheet. That's what it says up at the top. So review my notes on the printed copy of the document. So that's actually part of the textbook. But we want to heading, it's got some headings that divide the document into different parts. But right now the headings are hard to see. So minimum characteristics and building type are supposed to be headings. And we want to apply a style to those headings. Scroll down until you see the first line on page 2. Here's page 2, which says since its inception. And then click anywhere in that sentence. The message, page 2 of 2 in the status bar appears, right? And tells you that we're actually on page 2. The shaded space between the first and second pages in the document, that's right about there, indicates a page break to hide the top and bottom margins of a document, as well as the space between pages. You can double-click the shaded space between any 2 pages. Oh, look at that. Never heard that before. Interesting and strange. That's very unusual for me to look at that way. So I'm going to double-click that line again. So you might be able to tell there that I was reading directly from the textbook. So again, really important that you take a look at the different things in the text so that you know where you're going. So we want to review and respond to some of the comments. So to get to the top of the document, I can hold down the Control key on the keyboard and press Home. So Control Home is another one of those quick tips. And on the Review tab, I want to say Next. The first comment now has an outline that it's selected, so that's great news. And in the text, the word lead is selected, indicating that the comment is attached to that text. Because Carolina created the comment, her name appears and a little icon at the beginning, and the insertion point blinks at the beginning of the comment and is ready for you to edit the comment if you wish. Read the comment, and then in the comments group, click Next. Okay, so she says, review the notes on the printed copy of my document. Then we go Next. And there's a different one. I might want to use this paragraph in another document, but I'm concerned it might be too long. What's its total word count? And we see down at the bottom that it's actually 466 words. So that's kind of interesting too. And we're at probably, if she selects that text, it says 1 of 466 words, but it's not. If I select the whole paragraph, there's 105 words in that paragraph. So that's interesting that it can do that. It tells you that 105 of the document's total word count is currently selected. So the answer to Carolina's question is 105. There's 105 words in this paragraph. So we can click Reply, and we can actually make a comment saying there are 105 words in that paragraph, which is nice. And if you're logged into your Microsoft account, you will see your name pop up. If you don't have it directly connected to your Microsoft account or your Conestoga account, then your screen might look a little bit different. I'm going to jump down to the very last comment, and I can see there I already did this by putting my name here. Make sure you put your name beside prepared by. And I'm going to click inside the comment, and I'm just going to actually delete. Deleting just deletes her text, but I'm going to move up to the top of the screen on the Review tab in the Comments group, click the Delete button, and it gets rid of that comment.